Now I got to find my way back. I never know how to get back.
Sorry.
Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Discord and I, we just don't get along too well.
I know. Well, it's only been 4 years of us doing this every 2 weeks.
Yep.
I think the fifth year, you're really going to get it.
Welcome to This Endorian Life, a nostalgic Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and we're taking apart the world of Star Wars Lego brick by brick.
Yes, and today we are watching Lego Star Wars The Yoda Chronicles, Menace of the Sith. This episode originally aired September 4th, 2013 on Cartoon Network. We were grown men.
30.
We were 30. Oh, yeah, 30. Yeah. We were.
Yeah, I guess I was 30. You were still 29 when this episode aired.
At the end of this month would have been my first wedding anniversary. So,
oh, really? Oh, that's fun.
25 days. Yeah, 25 days after this aired was my first wedding anniversary.
Remember we watched Looper for your bachelor party? Do you remember that? Like we did other crazy things too, but we watched Looper.
That was fun.
That
was a good time.
That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. Let's see. What else? The episode was released on DVD along with The Phantom Clone the following year in 2014. As with the last episode, this was written by Michael Price and directed by Michael Hagner. So lots of Michaels going on.
Michael. Yeah.
Everybody from the previous episode, we got the returning cast coming back, but we're adding Trish Pattenden as Asajj Ventress, Andrew Francis as Cad Bane, and we hear a couple other little voices there, a lot of people doubling up. Our Star Wars link this time is Tabitha St. Germain. Tabitha voices both Bene and young Lando, but her history with Star Wars runs much deeper. It goes all the way back to 1985, where she provided regular voices for the first season of Star Wars Ewoks, and she notably voiced the character Asha in the episode of the same name.
Asha. Is that the red one?
It was like Chief Chirpa's long-lost daughter. That was an intense episode. So long ago now.
That was a good one. I feel like I remember that being a good one.
It was good. But it is kind of funny because it's Asha and other assorted voices in that first season, and then jump almost 30 years later and doing Lando in this series. So weird. Those are her only 2 Star Wars credits. A million other things, but that's it for Star Wars.
I mean, I feel like 1 Star Wars credit is enough to be like, you're in. You know, but to have multiple ones, that's pretty cool.
It is cool. So there you go.
Wow, we have a link.
Mm-hmm. We've done it. We've connected it to the Ewoks.
Always, I know. It's like, what's that game? 6 degrees of separation or something, like 3 degrees, 2 degrees. I don't know what is it with
6.
Kevin Bacon or something.
Yeah.
It's 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got it in like 2 with Star Wars. Come on,
easy.
All right, should I take us out on the uber detailed plot before we tear this apart?
Do it.
All right, uber detailed plot of Yoda Chronicles, Menace of the Sith. We open to Sidious announcing his ultimate weapon to all the galaxy's baddies, with Yoda and Obi-Wan infiltrating in disguise. Jek 14 impresses them with his power, and Dooku showcases their new cloning machine, which is apparently not ready yet, as it clones a mini Jek.
With the high-pitched voice and everything. Like, I'm going to get you. I'm going after you. You come over here.
Yeah. And he shoots, and it's like, pew, 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 which is a very specific noise. I couldn't figure out where that was from.
Yeah.
But I've heard that noise before. That's one of those,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
All kinds of movies. Yeah, it's like the standard sci-fi blaster noise or whatever.
Yep.
So Yoda and Obi reveal.
I'm a regular Jedi type.
Yoda and Obi reveal themselves, and they are soon neutralized by Jek, who refuses to finish Yoda. Whoa. Jek is made of a Force crystal and chooses neither the dark nor the light side and runs off. Both the Jedi and Sith pursue, but lose him in an asteroid field. Meanwhile, because 3PO complained, Anakin is now in charge of watching the younglings on Hoth. Anakin seeks counsel with 3PO, who is already making friends in food service. That's a joke, by the way. He wasn't making friends at all. A massive search for Jek begins across the galaxy, and Anakin is frustrated that he is stuck on Hoth watching the kids, who he just realized he lost. The Padawans are off being entertained by Jek. Now Anakin will be taken seriously if he captures Jek. Jek attempts to leave after easily neutralizing Anakin, but is captured by Grievous. Dooku is no longer patient with Jek as he wastes no time cloning Jek into more Sith clones. Anakin is admonished by the Jedi Council and told not to interfere. But that doesn't last long as Dooku arrives on top of Anakin and the Padawans in orbit to launch his first attack on Coruscant. The Jedi fleet meets them in battle. The Padawan ship is destroyed, but they work together to build tinier ships out of the pieces of their destroyed one. Anakin is nearly killed by Ventress when he tries to find the weak spot on Dooku's command ship. He eventually is successful, sending Dooku and Grievous hurling toward the surface to surely die in a crash. They are secretly saved by Sidious, who hopes the Jedi will surrender, but they don't. Dooku discards Jek, tossing his weakened body to the Jedi. He isn't needed anymore as Dooku unleashes his new Sith clones onto the lot. They simultaneously fire on the Jedi, but the blast is countered by Jek, who absorbs all of the new Sith clones' power, extinguishing all of them. It actually makes them into tiny little ones, and then he vacuums them all up in a weird electricity. I don't know. It was really tough to describe. So it's
a little odd.
He just extinguishes them. I'm just going to go with that. Jek angrily returns Dooku and Grievous to their wreck and launches them into space. Jek also admonishes the Jedi, claiming he must go on his own way. He jumps into his own ship and blasts off into space alone. Anakin and the Padawans are recognized for their valor. Anakin is needed back in the war, and 3PO is returned as the Padawan's babysitter. Roll credits.
Did you notice that the Star Wars logo was green this time? It really stood out to me. And my son noticed it too. He was like, hey, look at that.
Oh, I did not.
Rather than the yellow outline, which is typical. And I know there's variants and stuff, but something about the green. I guess they're doing green for Yoda, but it really stood out.
Okay. Now, yeah. I think I was too distracted by the interruption of the war.
Oh, yeah.
That happened immediately.
Corny.
And I was like, well, that was a little bit.
Yeah. The Kroll starts and it's like war. And then he does a bunch of non sequiturs and then is like, now that I've got your attention.
Now that I got your attention, I was like, you did. You started with war,
Yeah, you had us. You had us. Yeah. I thought that because the last time we were covering this, we talked a lot about Jek and is he evil just because Dooku touched the crystal and Dooku's evil? We had a whole conversation about that. And it's funny that was actually a seed that was planted to explore further. And it's like, no, it's just a force crystal. He can choose whatever side of the force he wants. I felt like there was no hint of that in the previous episode. So the fact that was to kind of string us along a little bit, I thought that was okay. That's kind of an interesting way to get into the story. But I thought of you as soon as that happened because I was like, that was a big sticking point for you.
Well, it's why he didn't destroy Yoda.
Right.
It would make sense the other way too, that he wouldn't have destroyed Sidious or Dooku, Grievous.
Right.
That he's like, Grievous. Does Grievous really count? Not really. Right, he doesn't have any force powers.
Yeah,
so maybe he could have killed Grievous, but
probably
he didn't want to destroy Yoda. And then who was it in the first episode? I can't remember who it was. It was Obi-Wan. It was Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
Or no, was it Yoda again? Was it? Oh yeah, I can't even remember. But basically, it was so significant in the first one. It was kind of like, whoa, he hesitated there. This time he did it again, but he was like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
and that was I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool. I'm glad you thought of me because I was like, whoa, cool.
Yeah.
So,
I thought, I know we already ragged on the war, but other than that, I felt like in general, the humor landed a lot better in this one than it did in the first episode as well. What did you think of that?
I think so. I think there was a lot of hints at things, and that's part of like as cool as it was finding out that Jack felt like he couldn't do that because he was made from a Force crystal, so he was fairly
Yeah.
neutral. But there was other things that trumped that for me as far as being like my Ichiwawa. So we'll get to that. But yes, the jokes there were some corny ones. Like the whole war thing at the beginning, I was just like, oh, geez, that was like, why do that? Was totally unnecessary. There was a couple corny ones, but I feel like the ceiling or the floor was higher on this one, and the ceiling was slightly high. The other one was just like, man, that was a ton of corny jokes. There weren't really many good ones, but there were a lot of bad ones. This one was the opposite. I felt like there was a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I think so too.
It made sense in the saga too, right?
That's what I was going to say, because we were complaining, or at least I was last time, about it showed the cantina scene from A New Hope, like actual footage. I don't remember if that was Padawan Menace or what that was, but this one, Anakin is like, I'm stuck babysitting. What would Obi-Wan say? And R2 shoots up an actual little clip from Attack of the Clones, I guess, that was like, Anakin, you have to learn your place. And Anakin's like, shut up, I don't want to see that. But that fit in the timeline and actually was relevant. And so I was like, yeah, all right. I like that.
Yeah, they're not showing something that happens 30 years later, but now,
The joke that I like almost did a spit take on that surprised me the most was when Anakin is trying to convince them of something. I don't even remember what it is.
Padawans?
Either the Padawans.
Ship, right? Yeah, yes, I know what you're going with. Yeah.
Okay. And one of the Padawans is like, you're a great Jedi Master, but you're not a very good actor.
You're not a very good actor.
Dude, burn, Hayden Christensen, burn.
I freaking had to stop and rewind, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah. That was too funny. That was too funny to me.
That was so good.
I don't think I've ever known him to like take a dig like that in a Star Wars production. You know what I mean?
That's a brutal dig from Star Wars itself. See, that's the thing. It's not like somebody online making it. This is a product. Well, it's not Disney Star Wars, but wait, is this Disney? It's not yet, right? So it's
no. I mean, it's like Lucasfilm, basically.
Like totally. Funny. I wonder if he called him up and was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that we're gonna do."
Guys, I didn't write the joke about Hayden.
Oh man,
it does work with what they're saying. Like it's a double meaning. I mean, it makes sense what they say.
Double entendre? Is that a double entendre? Is it a double entendre if it's not sexual?
I'm not sure.
Just a double meaning.
A double meaning, maybe. But normally, I think you'd say you're not a very good liar. But they said you're not a very good actor.
Not a very good liar. You're not a very good actor.
But it was like hats off to that one. I thought that
killed me. That was by far
pretty funny.
Yeah, that was by far the best joke. There were a couple of other really good ones.
I did so enjoy that.
The second best joke is part of my Ichiwawa, which I thought was so good.
Okay,
but I don't know. This one I did look at how much was left.
Okay,
but I was a good 17 minutes in.
Yeah.
There was a point at which I was like, ooh.
Ready for the next thing. Yeah.
How much is left? Yeah. But it was all the bounty hunter stuff. I was like, geez, are we still doing the bounty hunter stuff?
Right.
But yeah, it was just like, oh, what? Wait. Oh, the bounty hunters don't want to help us? And it was just like, yeah, I don't know. What does that matter? Like, to me, this was like, I guess it mattered because I guess later on they want to help Vader. And they all help them.
I think they're just trying to fill out the world a little bit, maybe establish part of it or whatever. We got I have a bad feeling about this. Yoda said that at one point. Yep. So I mean that always stands out whenever you hear that. The Emperor at one point when he's leaving, he says "Hasta la bye bye," which is what Biff says in Back to the Future. And like
really?
It's just the first thing I thought. And there was nothing else that was really referencing Biff or Back to the Future, but like that is such a Biff line that I wondered if there was some reason why they did that. But
make like a tree and get the heck out of here.
Yeah, it was one of those. It's about as funny as a screen door on a battleship, that kind of crap. I did like when Palpatine, Obi-Wan was chasing him and as Sidious. And Sidious jumps into the shuttle and leaves away, and Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, and he stole Palpatine's shuttle." I thought
that was pretty good.
That was a pretty good one.
I like that too. See, that was good. And then later on, they kind of did it again, where he was like, where he's like, no, and then yes, and they kind of like walk
Yeah.
by and they're like, oh, that's I don't know,
Yeah.
he's got some weird, he's a little weird, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was like,
How
oh
about
yes,
how about when they opened the door and they found all the Wookiees celebrating Life Day?
oh yeah,
I
right,
thought that was a pretty I like that also was kind of a deep cut because now, as we've talked about with Young Jedi Adventures and everything, like the comics, there's all sorts of things that sort of embrace Life Day. But this was definitely during like the dark era of we do not talk about the holiday special. And I kind of felt like
yes,
maybe I could not verify this, but it felt like the first sort of mainstream in-universe reference
reference, yeah, I
to
think
the
you're
holiday
right.
special.
It's the Poe Dameron stuff later, right?
I guess
That's like
so.
the Lego episode where that talks
Yeah.
about Life Day.
Yeah, that's much
Yeah, it's
later.
Ray, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
much
right.
later, like
The
10
the
years
Lego
later.
holiday special and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a cool little Easter egg. That if you didn't watch the holiday
I
special, you
forgot
might not have
to say
known
that. Yeah.
what that was about. But yeah, so apparently this was a Life Day special and we didn't even know it.
We didn't even know.
But
Yeah.
there's one I can't remember who does it, but we get a here's Johnny. It's Anakin. Anakin breaks through and is like, "Here's
Oh yeah.
Annie,"
Here's Annie when he
which
opens with the weak spot.
yes, yeah, that's right. He finds the weak. Yeah, which that also was
It's like
very funny.
Dooku's
Like,
ship's butthole. Like
yes, he flies up and he drops. He's like, I'm gonna take Dooku out, and he drops a shot right into this hole, and then it just fizzles out and nothing happens. And he's like, huh, no, I really thought that was gonna work. I thought
well,
that was very funny. Also,
when he does shoot it, and it like and it's like this intense, like, oh, it's about to blow, and it's like and it's just like a little
yeah,
bit of smoke that comes out, and
yeah,
he's like, yeah, that's really weird. I kind of
yeah,
figured there was a thing that would
yeah.
a thing that would blow the
That
entire
was
thing up,
good.
and I thought that's totally a reference to
Yeah.
Thumb Wars. Like, you
Oh,
just follow.
maybe.
It's the ultimate battle station of destruction the universe has ever seen. Luckily, they included a button right here that'll blow the
Yeah.
entire thing up.
Yeah.
So that totally, he almost said the line word for
Well,
word, and I was
honestly,
like, oh
you
yeah,
might
there
be
you go.
right because these aren't too far apart, and there was like Rob Paulson is in both, so it's possible. I mean,
I bet there was some
were
like, oh, you
connections
should
there.
totally say this. You should totally say this.
But the here's Johnny joke that Anakin does when he does eventually find the weak spot and he opens up and there are the little Roger droids. But I was watching this with my son and he reminded me that they also do that joke in Terrifying Tales where the droid comes in and he's like, "Here's BD134756."
Oh yeah,
It's a whole long name.
his name is so long. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. So they do a couple of here's Johnny jokes. So I thought that was pretty funny. And we got a little Qui-Gon in the end.
Yes,
which is always,
we did. He was peppered
funny.
in there about halfway
He was.
through.
Yeah, that's
which I
true. We
thought-
got some.
that leads me into my Ichiwawa. Let's do
Oh,
Ichiwawa
let's do it.
first.
Let's do it.
this. So first off, it was the Padawan saying you're a great Jedi, not a great actor. I mean, that was hands down, that killed me. But then the Qui-Gon, like when Anakin was like being bad and Obi-Wan was like, ugh, what the heck, man? You told me like this would be great. And Qui-Gon goes, whoa, don't pin this on me, man. You blew it. Totally killed me. Like he totally tried to blame the way Anakin is on him, and is like, and I just realized like that's so true. That's so true. Like, you were supposed to be the chosen one. He was like, yeah, he was. You blew it, dude. You blew it.
Yeah.
Like, don't blame us on
That was
Qui-Gon.
funny.
I just thought that was so good.
Mm-hmm.
What about yours?
I agree. The not a great actor thing. That was definitely the thing that made me like laugh right out loud. I like that a lot. But also there was a lot of good use of Lego in it. Like it kind of, they took advantage of the whole Lego thing. Like when they're on Hoth and Jack has the Padawans in that dome and he's building all these things. And he's said a couple of times now, like he doesn't want to fight anybody. He just wants to be a builder and build these things. Which made me think of Rebuild the Galaxy, where there was that whole like builder sect of the Jedi. So we're seeing little whispers of that here early on. So I liked that, and then when the ship blows up and the Padawans like reassemble it, and so I really liked those two things. What didn't you like? Give me an Okavark.
I just remembered it now, but apparently there's grass on Hoth, green grass under the ice.
I guess so. It was a flash freeze. It happened so quickly.
I know. I thought that was a little odd that, like, I guess Jack created, like, he landed on Hoth and he's like, yeah, I don't like the ice, so I'm just going to melt
They'll
it, and
create
there's green
grass.
grass, apparently.
Sure.
So my Oak of Arcs were, first off, that war, just
Oh yeah.
disruption at the very
Yeah.
beginning was
That was
like,
that
it was
was dumb.
way too early to do some sort of slapsticky joke like that.
Yeah.
And that was jarring. I was kind of like, oh, I know it's a war.
Yeah.
It was totally unnecessary, but it was just kind of like a bunch of random 1 second scenes from the previous episode that had nothing to do with, like, there was no like dialogue of like, we're at war, this is a fight, or, you know, like, don't kill him, or, you know, like, oh, I refuse to kill, or, you know, end him, you know, things like that would have been perfect. And then maybe
Yeah.
it wouldn't be so disruptive, but I was just like, what? That was so random and dumb. Like, it just didn't make any sense. It was nothing. I don't know. That like right off the bat kind of made me mad. But then, like, very soon after, somebody's talking. Oh, it's the Jedi Council at the very beginning, and they say like, oh yeah, like somebody said like, oh, the Sith. And I was like, man, we keep bringing up the Sith, but they forget this is the prequel, and the Sith are a myth. I know there's a couple scenes and references that kind of break the time continuum, you
Yeah.
know, with like the cantina scene, like that hasn't
Yeah.
happened yet. That one to me, I was like, man, we keep talking about the Sith, but the Sith are supposed to be a myth still at this point in the prequel trilogy. Like, what is Kiadi Mundi? Like, is pretty much like, but they're a myth. And so I don't know. That just came up because what show was it where the Acolyte, when
I can't
they're
go down
like
the
free,
road with you. I
I
can't
know
do it.
they freely talk about the Sith, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Kiadi Mundi was basically like they're a myth about 5 minutes ago.
It is
We're all
kind of
talking
funny
about
that like he was the one who said that, and he was the one they used for
he
Acolyte.
was the one
Was a
in the
weird,
episode.
yeah,
Yeah, it
that
was
was a
just like,
weird,
dude, what are you guys
yeah.
doing? Like,
No, I'll give you that. That was a weird pull because
bunch
it
of
could have been anybody. Could have been Plo Koon. You know what I mean? It could have been anybody. But
yeah,
anyway,
could have been just a random one. Like, oh
yeah,
yeah, I remember hearing about them, but I
yeah,
don't think there's anything of them. Like, maybe you
right,
should ask Kiadi Mundi. You know, like, and then
right,
just like diverted it some other way instead of like actually having the exact guy who said they're a myth freely talk about them like they totally
yeah,
exist. You know,
yeah,
so I don't know. I mean, I think at the time I was just like, I'm going to give this one a pass and be like, maybe he said they were a myth because he was secretly investigating them on the side. Because
yeah,
in the Acolyte, they totally were. They totally were.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and they
Well,
weren't.
I mean, that show was really building towards a whole conspiracy like thing.
It was
So
good because the Green Lady, she was
You could
bad.
make I
Yeah,
think you
so
could make a
that's
case
why I
for that.
did that.
But
I was like,
anyway,
all right.
yeah.
And it was only afterwards when it's like, oh yeah, she knows and she's keeping it all a secret.
Hmm.
That okay, now this makes sense because Kiadi Mundi could be somehow a part of
Right.
it.
Yeah,
The
I
cover
do
up.
think that's
Cover
true.
up.
But
But
well, good. I'm
yeah,
glad that
so that
we can
bothered me.
both
I was like,
enjoy the Acolyte together. That's great.
don't you rope me into that.
No, I'm sorry.
Don't you dare.
No, your feelings
What about
are on record. They're on record. We know. We know.
That's why it's an Oak of Arc, because it has to do with the Sith, and they messed it up in this, and they messed it up in the Acolyte too,
Yeah,
and that's
I
why
know.
anything
You had a
that's
hard time.
linked somehow, however loosely, to the Acolyte, I don't like.
Oak of Arc. Oak of Arc.
Oak of Arc. Oak of Arc.
I had to really kind of reach for an Oak of Arc because there was nothing that really stuck in my craw. But I guess I felt like the way that they were all so casually interacting with Palpatine. With Sidious. You know,
With Sidious, yeah.
everybody's just like Yoda's right with him, Obi-Wan is right with him, and it's like, he was always sort of in the shadows and everything, and they were always dealing with Dooku or Grievous or Darth Maul or whoever, and they weren't really interacting specifically with him, and I felt like kind of losing that veil, just kind of hurt the story, but that's a nitpick, but that's the thing that stood out to me a little bit.
That's similar to like what I noticed that like like later on Sidious seems to be like the butt of all the jokes.
Right.
But in the first episode of this one, it seemed like Grievous was like the butt of all the jokes. But this one, it seemed like Grievous, Dooku, and Sidious are all like kind of serious.
Yeah.
There weren't any like, oh, you're a bumbling idiot moments where they all kind of like seamlessly were, I don't know, working together as being evil. And that I noticed that because in the previous episode, it was so blatant. They like, oh, you're an idiot. They made one like super clumsy and stupid, but this time they didn't. So I don't know. I feel like that's linked to that. Like maybe they really changed the tune. We got to stop doing this with Sidious or Grievous and stop making them sound like that.
Yeah. Well, how many Yub-Nubs?
I don't know. I think like a 3.5.
Yeah.
There wasn't much that happened. Like I think you're right about like even my Oak of Arc is really not really. It has nothing to do with the story itself. It just has to do with like, yeah, that was a really bad joke and that was really dumb. But like nothing cracks the story. It made sense. It actually flowed fairly quickly. I feel like when I did look at the time, I was expecting only 6 minutes went by, but it was much more than that, which I was actually surprised about. So I don't know. I think 3.5 is just fair because I feel like a 4 I'm going to give to something that I enjoyed a lot, but maybe have had problems. This one I didn't necessarily have any problems, but I thought it was okay. I didn't really. I wouldn't really say I enjoyed it thoroughly. It just was like, oh, the jokes were good.
No, I think I'm in that ballpark with you as well. I enjoyed it a lot better than I did the first episode. And I felt like, the first episode was kind of all set up and lots of things going on. And I felt like this one was pretty serviceable in its whole, like, continuing the story and getting a little deeper with everything. So no, I felt like it was narratively, it was pretty good. But yeah, still kind of mid. But fun overall. And what more could we ask?
Fun overall.
Next time, we'll be taking a ride on the good ship Cerritos for our annual episode of This Enterprising Life, where we'll be discussing the first season of Star Trek Lower Decks with our old pal Amanda Smith from the David A. Howe Public Library. It's Star Trek Day, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Man, I love Star Trek Day.
I know, it's going to be fun.
What did we do last year? We did some episodes of...
5. No, we did Star Trek 5.
Oh, we did 5. I thought we did the animated series. Or we did the animated series before that, right?
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Yeah, that was the good episode with Uhura or something like that. That was a good one.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to... I have... I guess I've seen the first episode of Lower Decks a couple of times. Okay. But I haven't... I've never, like, rewatched the whole first season or anything. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I have... seen a few episodes of the first season, and then randomly a couple episodes of I don't even know what season, but it had to do with the green character and her planet.
Okay. Oh, sure, the Orions. Yeah.
Orions. Oh, that's right, the Orions. Yeah. So apparently there was a few episodes that kind of like linked together, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually like they like link the episodes of this show, like it's an actual show. It's not just like random funny. Like South Park is just like episodes really don't have to do with each other. Sometimes they do, but for the most part they don't. So, or like Family Guy.
No, it's fun. I mean, I think the first season is all pretty standalone, but they do get more and more serialized as it goes along. I don't think Amanda's watched this either in like earnestly. Like maybe she's seen little bits here and there, but honestly, I mean, you both have a pretty good working knowledge of Next Generation, and I feel like a lot of the humor comes from just off the cuff little comments that if you know Next Gen, particularly, I mean, they do Voyager and the original series and the Deep Space Nine as well, but I really feel like the Next Gen jokes are where it really hits. So I think you're going to like it once we see the whole thing.
Yeah, I grew up with Next Gen on syndication, but DS9 was, beginning to end. My first like full Star Trek from beginning to end, watching it live on television.
Okay.
So, and then Voyager was next. You're a big Voyager fan, right?
I would say, I mean, I love the original series also, but I think Voyager was the one, well, in college, when we would go down and watch Voyager at midnight on UPN. Yeah. That was my first experience with like episodic Star Trek watching, like we got to wait for the next episode sort of thing. So yeah, Voyager definitely is like sort of my Star Trek, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to talking about Lower Decks. I think we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Until we meet again.
Yeah, until we meet again. This Endorian Life is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Be sure to check out some of the other shows on the network, including Previously on X-Men and 9021 Here We Go. Please rate, subscribe, and share these shows wherever you get your podcasts.